Why are we starting late?
I don't know. That's okay. I mean, no big deal.
We got to
What's
talk
wrong, man?
about our hobbies and
That's right. That's right. Cookbooks and the
right.
latest things on the.
My crochet animal I'm making right now.
That's right. Well, I mean, I do so that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But well, welcome back, everybody. Hey, well, first off, Chris, how's it going? How's your week going? You started a new job. How's that going for you, buddy?
Dude, I've been so busy. I haven't even been able to brush my hair, and it's been awful. I
That
love the
doesn't
new
take that
job.
long.
Yeah. It's wavy. Um, I love the new job. I just, as you know, anytime you start a new job and you're the new guy and you have the new guy syndrome, you're like, you have to listen to everything.
Yeah.
People think that they're important. So no, I'm just kidding. But no, it's just a lot of information coming in and not much going out.
That's the worst thing is like learning new procedures and processes and learning new names for me is the hardest thing.
Yeah, the first week, everybody gets called Chief from me. Hey, Chief, what's going on?
That's a
Hey,
good one.
what's going on, Captain?
Then they're like, oh, that's that fun guy.
right.
Oh, too funny. Well, I tell you what, we have got some exciting times coming up upon us. I don't know. There's this little thing called the eclipse. Might have gotten through the news that I'm sure that everybody's talking about. Is a lot of things are happening at Hoosier National to prepare for that. Aren't they on like a whole other level of taking reservations and everything else?
Yeah, they're taking reservations for the horse camp. I know, particular $8 a reservation, and they're expecting thousands of people to be flooded. That's why we moved the meetup, because heck no, I ain't doing that.
Yeah. So guess who else is a hot spot?
Decatur.
That's right.
Nice.
Total
Are you going
solar
to?
eclipse?
Do you have an eclipse party planned?
No. I plan on just going to work as usual. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of like schools are shutting down, banks are shutting down. I mean, it's almost like kind of weird. I mean, they're like,
Yeah, they did 2017, did they?
No. It's like, well, and I heard like a lot of these smaller towns just got overrun with people that were flocking towards this thing. And I mean, they're talking fill up your gas tanks, have 2 weeks of food on hand. I'm like, is this an eclipse or a hurricane? I mean, what are we doing here?
3 days of darkness. Yeah.
That's right. Of 3 minutes, right? Isn't it like 3 minutes of it takes like a half hour from
it's like 4 minutes and 22 seconds. And all of this hoopla over that, it makes me think of the ancient Mayans when they would see this stuff and the guy would hold up a heart at the top of the pyramid, That's what it feels like. It's like it's an eclipse. They happen.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, we got to shut down the schools because they're liable if a kid looks up at them. I'm like, I mean, come on. At that point, it's like, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Darwin has some theories on that.
Yeah. I mean, that'll just thin the herd. It'll be all right.
Oh, well, then people getting lost and trying to navigate in the darkness, I'm sure will be a thing, right?
Hey, do you remember, I don't know if you've watched any Campfires and Kettles, so Andy Miller or Metro on the Move, he sent Carlson a sticker of his face. It was like a die cast.
I got one too.
Carlson would always do that, right?
Uh-huh.
Check this out. I got my fiance an air freshener. This is for her car.
Here, this is me, and this version actually smells good.
I smell like linen. Yeah. I'm so funny.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Oh, man. Well, I tell you what, that's awesome. Well, first off, we got to give a couple shout outs before we get into today's topic. First one to Tanya, if you want to bring up her soap company.
I just bought some from her.
Did you really? Okay, awesome.
I bought one of these. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's the best. That and Campfire Cat Holes, 2 favorite soaps on planet Earth. But right now, if you buy the Seeking Sasquatch soap, she's donating $1 from every bar that's been purchased to Love Like Jonathan. So big deal. I really appreciate her for doing that, which is really cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And I think she was saying on the last live stream, she made comments about that one and the Campfires Cat Holes are the two best sellers.
Isn't that crazy? I
Yeah.
don't
Well, that's
even.
because
I don't think she has any campfires and cat holes right now in stock. I don't know. I don't see it here uh, on her site, but and that's fine because we haven't had a live stream in a long time.
yeah, right. Yeah, you guys need to get back to that. So Brian's on the AT, right?
Yeah, Brian is currently he is currently on the AT with Hoot, and they posted a video this morning on Facebook. They're at Klingman's Dome, so
Oh,
they're
wow.
they're doing. I think it's like 70 miles or something like that. He asked me to do it, but I don't do long trails, so.
Wow. Does he use like, well, is a Far Out app that's
Yeah,
formerly known as Gut Hooks?
he uses Far Out, and it gives you really good information about the trail, hostels, water sources. It's supposedly it's really. I've never seen it,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah,
can download offline maps too for your section.
right. Now, which kind of brings us into our topic today is maps versus apps. I mean, everything
Right.
kind of has its place and time, but I kind of still find myself using both, and we're gonna kind of dive into this. But I've used the Gut Hooks app when it was called that a couple of times on the AT Trail when I've done a
Mhm.
few trips there, and it actually works really well. And if you think about how easy they make hiking the AT nowadays, I mean, when it wasn't too long ago to where people are just using books and trying to figure it out,
Right.
and now it's every exact water source and all that other fun stuff.
By the way, I confirm Gut Hook is what Far Out they
Yeah,
rebranded.
yeah, I wasn't sure why, if they got purchased or whatever, but have you ever been lost on trail or have you ever been?
I've just never had it on video, but I mean, when I first started, I got lost all the time,
That's most
and
people.
I always thought that I was going to really teach myself the compass and map and all that, and I just never got around to it. I'm lazy in the sense that I use the app more than anything. I use an app more than anything else,
Yeah.
and that's not good to do. I know that, so shame on me, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, that's not necessarily shame on you. I mean, that's just where society is, right? So when it comes down to GPS navigation, we're in our cars. I mean, how many of us actually have a paper map on hand, right?
Right.
And you don't really think about it until that time that you need it. And there was a gentleman by the name of Backpacking with Jason that had a moment that I heard about, and he actually put it in one of his videos as far as needing a paper map. Not too long ago, we all had this crisis where AT&T went down. I'm sure there were some other sub carriers that went down as well too,
Yeah,
but it was for like an entire day. Like you couldn't use navigation, couldn't make a call, couldn't do anything.
it's really a happy day if you think
It
about it.
it really was. I mean, my boss didn't call me. It was
Right.
great.
No one could call anyone. It was great.
That's right. But if you would play that clip
Okay.
from Backpacking with Jason,
Beaver Creek Wilderness.
yes, sir.
Oh man, come on, man! All right, here he
Your
is.
your cousin.
My cousin.
Cumberland River. Tomorrow we'll backtrack, catch the trail, and go back up the ridge top. Remember when the phones went out? They didn't have no service for a lot of AT&T, Cricket, Verizon.
I didn't have service all day.
Yeah, I didn't have it for a long time either. I was at work, and I had to go to this new job site.
Yeah.
And I literally didn't know how to get there.
You didn't have any Google Maps, no Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi, no Google Maps, no maps on my phone that I always just click in the address and go right there. So I had to put faith in that the guys were there working, framing the house. And I was like, should I go buy a map or just wait it out on my phone? So I'm definitely gonna go buy a map.
He went home.
I want to keep a paper map in the vehicle. I don't know what I was thinking on there, but
An Atlas.
I was I pretty much just called it a day. I just went
Get
home.
home.
Get a hold of me. I can't.
So I have an Atlas in my car that I don't use.
Yeah. I do too. I do too. I actually have an updated one. I just bought one like 2 or 3 years ago, so it's fairly updated.
Yeah.
But I remember being as a kid, using that road atlas on long trips. Like every summer we went to Minnesota and we spent 2 weeks trying to catch our limit and fish to bring back, right? So we'd spend 2 weeks in Minnesota fishing. That entire way up there, I was the map kid at like 10 years old. How big of a deal was that, right? You get to sit up in the front seat with dad and you're looking through the map and you're, trying to navigate. Well, I know exactly where we're at. We're here. We see this sign. And but those are valuable times. How many people can do that now? And I started thinking about that. It's like at the next family trip that we go somewhere, one of the kids is going to get the map. They're going to try to find out where we're at.
Did you do what I did and got all excited when you got to the edge of the atlas and then you had to turn the page?
Yeah,
You
through
remember that?
another state.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
right. Only 4 more to go.
That's right. Yeah, I remember doing that as a kid too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But those are like life skills that you learn at a young age and you don't even realize it. Now, a lot of kids, including ourselves, are getting, we're having a hard time getting used to it. Or maybe even we're losing that skill because we look at our phone or look at our dash and it says turn right here. It's very convenient. And I'll tell you, I probably wouldn't survive Indianapolis or some of the bigger cities, especially St. Louis, if I didn't have it.
I
However,
couldn't imagine Atlanta without that.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, but it really ends up just being kind of a almost a lost art if you really think about it. So that's why in my head's, if that ever happens, you got to be able to at least know how to read a map to get through where you're going or whatever. But that brings us to the app situation. Apps sometimes, when in comparison, I got lost in Linville Gorge one time because of a navigation app. I think it was called View Ranger, and I downloaded the GPS coordinates. I think it was from Backpacker magazine. I was trying to do a loop called the "Is That All You Got" loop, and the coordinates were off. Like it showed me walking on trail, but I was having to hold on to trees to keep from rolling down the mountain. So,
I've been there.
Yeah. It's like, this is not the trail. This is, in fact, actually, we got a little clip of that to where we were at. But I remember getting to a point to where I just stopped, and we drove all night to get there. First off, so we were on zero sleep. We hiked 7 or 8 miles at that point. And I was like, okay, we got to stop. We got to find a place to stay.
Yeah.
We're just exhausted. And I looked up and there's this flat spot that you'll see in the video, or as close to a flat spot as you can get. So we basically army crawled up to it to be able to hang our hammocks off of 3 trees. So if you want to roll that clip.
Okay.
We survived. This old video.
Well, what do you think?
Shot on the Sony action cam.
You know what, Jeremy? I really appreciate
With
it.
a pirate, you're
Wait a little bit and do some, an off campsite, not
Some
planned
stealth
for
camping.
Stealth camping, and I think you nailed it. It's perfect.
oh, look at the fisheye on that.
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick rundown. We're off of the lead mine trail by about 260 yards, I believe is what GPS said.
That's
The
short off
GPS
mountain in the
kinda
background.
threw us off.
I've been there.
It had us start way early than where the actual lead mine trail started. And I should have looked for the sign. I should have looked for the blue blazes, but I think we were just so tired. We just kind of went with what we were told at that point. We decided, let's just get to a flat spot that we could find, camp tonight. And this is probably about 5 o'clock or so.
Those trees are like
We're
running.
crashing. I think we were both done at that point. We were exhausted. So this is where we ended up. The views are not so bad. Getting up here,
Straight up.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That was the Sony action. Was it A200 or something, like A300 or something?
Yeah, it's like fisheye. You can see
Big
that's
time.
crazy.
Big time. Yeah. That was before the GoPro, at least before I had a GoPro anyways.
Yeah.
But that's one of those where I just kind of submitted to the app and I knew it wasn't right, but guess what I had in my bag? I had a map, right? So that night I ended up looking at the map, trying to figure out where I was at. And we were halfway between the Linville River and the Mountain to Sea Trail.
Mhm.
So at that point, it's like, do we go up or do we go back down? And we ended up going back down, and we ran right into that lead mine trail.
Have you ever
But
heard of the Cambric Trail there?
yes, yeah, that's isn't that decommissioned?
It's decommissioned.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Steve from North Carolina, we ended up on that trail, and we were going to go down to the Linville River. And this is one of the times we did get lost, and it's so steep. It's just like that. And we got halfway down, and he's like, I'm like, dude, this is going to take us another hour and a half to get down to the river because it's so steep. And he's like, well, I guess we go back up.
Ugh.
And
Ugh.
that's worse.
Yeah, those are words you don't want to hear.
Yeah. And it was just overgrown. It was because it was decommissioned. It was overgrown. But that's one time where I did get off trail and I didn't have either an app or a map.
Yeah.
All I had was I was just crap. That's what it was. No map, no app, just crap.
So what would be better? I mean, if you think about it, is it better to understand a map and to have it, or is it better to have GPS? I mean, it's certainly easier for GPS. I mean, what do you think would be the best route to go?
So think about reliability, right? So I always go back to reliability. A map doesn't have all the detail that an app would. However, it doesn't need batteries. An app has more detail, but if it gets wet, if you protect your phone and it's fine, if you still have access to it, a map could disintegrate if you don't take care of it, which that's happened to me before. So they both have pros and cons. Really, I'd say it's better to have both.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you even think about a map might show some type of creek. That creek could be dry to where maybe the app might have up-to-date data. I mean, it's probably easier to update data on a map digitally versus on a paper map. I mean, I don't know how often they come around, but like I said, the most recent road atlas I have is like 2019. I don't know if they do it every year. I seriously doubt that they do. But I can't imagine there's that many people with all the hiking trails that are out there that they would update them that fast. So I almost kind of in the mindset, the paper map would be better to learn as a base and definitely to have as a backup.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I say all that, but I've not practiced that.
Yeah. Well, even Tangent has a great comment right there. Redundancy is a good thing. 100%. You're absolutely right. I don't know. There's when it comes to route planning too. I mean, it's just so easy to take an app and plan your route and put your stops and map out the trail that you're wanting to take. And then you think about that aspect of it. Okay, well, I can highlight it, but again, what if you lose the map? Well, so you do want to have more than one option, I guess.
Yeah. And like I said, the battery on your phone, if it goes out, you're kind of hosed.
Yeah.
So having a paper backup is always best. I like I said, I don't practice it, but it sounds good when I say it.
So what I'll do a couple things. One, I'll buy, everybody's seen these. Actually, here's a Isle Royale one. The old National Geographic.
Yeah, those are good.
They really are. They're kind of bulky and you have to unfold them. And then next thing you know, they're massive.
Yeah, but the paper that they're made out of is waterproof.
Oh, 100%. This is still usable. And this was the very first hike I've ever done. I mean, the thing's perfect, right?
I've got one of Yosemite Valley like that.
Nice. And then there's some other ones. I don't know if you've seen that video that backpacking Jason, what Jason did on the Kentucky map, the Red River Gorge map.
We talked to. Let's see.
I'm trying to think of what it's called, but
the outrageous map.
Outrageous map. Thank you. Yeah,
outrageous GIS.
Right. I just bought one of those on his recommendation. He sent me the link. I just bought it. I didn't even really look at the name, to be honest with you. He's like one of those guys you just trust when he says something.
Yeah.
And this has to be like one of the most detailed maps of the Red River Gorge I've ever seen.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good map. In fact, I bought one. It's like 3D terrain. They get simple GPS tool. I got one on the way too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would say if you ever hike in the Red River Gorge, that's a must buy. I mean, just the amount of detail in the area, in the fact, unlike the National Geographic maps, I mean, it's broken up into sections to where I can take whatever section I want depending on where I'm going. I can bring the whole map in the car, and depending on where I'm going to go and hike, I'm just going to grab that section of the map and take that with me.
Look at the topo on this.
Isn't that crazy?
And it keeps going. You can get that is so good.
Yeah. So whoever created that outrageous map,
Good on you.
kudos. I wish they had more areas that they did them in.
Have you ever been down this? I'm sorry, I don't mean to get off.
Go ahead.
Have you ever been down the Wildcat to and camp right here by Swift Camp Creek?
Okay, so I'm trying. Is that Wildcat over in the Creation Falls and the
Well, see the rough trail is up
area?
here. Well, the rough trail's up here.
Yeah, but that goes all the way across.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's the right one. I haven't been there, but I know where that is. If I'm thinking of the same one.
Well, so this is only about 2 miles down to the Swift Camp Creek right here. Mm-hmm. And you get off, you start on Wildcat and then you get to Swift Camp Creek trail. And it's like down here. There's some really good campsites right down there.
I mean, you can see the ridge walking. You can see.
Yeah. See this is the arch I've been looking for. That's across it's across the creek. I've camped here or here, and I've gone across and I've gone halfway up this hill and could not find this arch. But so I've tried it 3 times and it's eluded me.
Low for X. I just seen his comment. In an emergency, you can't wipe with an app. Sorry, wrong live stream. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Oh, big shout out to the backpacking podcast and their poop talk. That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to show that because that's the arch that I want to find someday. And I've not been able to find it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's all good. Now getting into apps, there's all kinds of different ones, right? I View Ranger I used to think was one of the best ones, but it was
an early one.
It was an early one. Oh, you know of it. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I had it before All Trails and everything else that came out, and it was really good. I had to design my route on the laptop and then download it to my phone at that time. I don't know if they ever changed it, and it could be such a thing that I just didn't know how to do it. But I remember that was the first time I realized, oh wow, I can just follow this line and try to use that as a reference versus trying to figure out what trail I'm on or navigate from a map. Once I learned that, then it's like I started kind of getting away from the whole map situation. What was your first app that you ended up using? Was it because you were an All Trails guy for the longest time, right?
I was on All Trails, yeah. And hey, Mark, by the way, welcome.
Hey, Mark.
I was on All Trails, but I was trying out Gaia, and I didn't like the user interface of Gaia first because I didn't understand it. Now that I understand it and how to route plan on it and stuff like that, I love it because I'll plan on Gaia and I'll send it to my Garmin, and it's just awesome.
Okay, so we've had this out before, so we ought to start digging into this. I'm an Onyx guy, and you're a Gaia guy.
I'm a Gaia guy. Guy. Yes,
you caught that.
Why don't you say that slowly?
Oh, and while we're discussing this, anybody has any apps or specific ones in the chat that you use, be sure to bring them up. I'm always curious about new ones. But go ahead and bring up your Gaia on the
Oh,
and convince me why I should switch from Onyx to Gaia.
well, so it depends because really I don't think that you should, because you do more off-roading than backpacking nowadays. Of course, I do more eating than backpacking nowadays, but 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 I don't think that you actually should. But I will say this is that the difference, the thing that I like about Gaia is that everything is in one app and they just throw it into layers. With Onyx, you have Onyx Hunt, you have Onyx Off-Road, you have Onyx Backpacking. They separate it out as different apps,
Mhm.
and maybe that's good because then you can specialize more with your layers. But I just think that what Gaia has is a lot of the same things. Like, for instance, one of the things on Onyx that you talk about is being able to associate
Private land.
private land. So if I add that layer, I can do that too.
Oh, nice.
And so
I never knew you could do that with Gaia.
but see, so you've got like over here, like this is the Peninsula Trail, right? And this is everywhere that you see it says United States of America is forestry land. But if we go, let's see right here. So here's the owner of this particular plot. And that's how you tell the private land. Look at all this. United States, Timothy
gotcha.
Lewis, United States. So, so I know that you can do that with Onyx, but here it's just different. It's in a layer. So that's why I like that if I wanted to do that. And then the thing that I had on there earlier, cell coverage for AT&T.
Oh, that's crazy. Now, can you pick any carrier, or is it just AT&T?
Well, that's what I don't know. I need to go. Let me go back and see let me look at these layers here. Now that obviously I'm on premium, so that's you pay more.
Sure.
It looks like right now all they have is AT&T. But if I click on this, and if you've ever been out to the Dean, you know how spotty.
Yeah.
You know how spotty the coverage is. Now I have AT&T, so this is very useful to me.
Right.
And you see everywhere in purple. I don't know if it's the green or the purple, but because they don't really give a legend. But either one. And so this is either the good signal or this is. So
I would assume the purple's the good signal.
I would assume that too.
Yeah.
But you know how spotty it can be out there. And so I can look at this and plan my campsite according to, if I want to stay connected. Usually I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to stay connected, I can plan my campsite according to where I think I'm going to have at least some semblance of cell phone coverage.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I like it that it's all in one, not three apps. I like I like the topo. I like the topo on Gaia a lot. And I like the fact that I can plan routes on here and then send it to my inReach. And a lot of times this is how I have found all the ponds that I've visited.
From Gaia, or just from the satellite picture?
Well, from satellite and or see right here, these blue spots. If I come out a little bit, there's all kinds of, here's a pond, there's a pond,
oh wow.
So that's how I've been finding these, and I will plan a route to them from the nearest trailhead or parking lot.
Okay. Wow.
So
that's crazy.
That's how I've done it. So that is why and this concludes my report on Gaia.
Now you bring up a valid point though, for the map versus app discussion. A lot of these apps there's going to be extended cost, whether it be, an annual cost or just a premium package cost, which most of the time is subscription based. An app, it's a one and done, right? So you buy the map and you're done. You do with it what you need. So there could be a bit of a cost discrepancy in how you think with what way you want to go. But again, it's people like convenience, right? Otherwise we wouldn't buy bag salad. We'd make it ourselves.
I think I think Gaia Premium is like something like $50 a year, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
Well-
will say this. So, this View Ranger that we were
Yep.
talking about,
Yes. I was
so
getting
he's
ready to
talking
call
about
that out.
identifying peaks. It's actually called something else now. It's called Outdoor Active. They changed.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
still
that
out
is
there,
right.
but they changed
Yeah.
the name of it.
Yeah,
You're
right.
let me tell you about an app that I absolutely love. It's
Okay.
not. It's an app for identifying peaks. It's not an app for necessarily a trail. So
Okay.
it's called Peak Finder, PEAKFINDER.
Mhm.
And I'm going to try and show it on. It's on my phone, obviously, but the way it works with GPS as well. So you see that? I don't know if you can see this.
I
You see
see
my
a
rainbow?
rainbow.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, you probably can't see it. That's fine.
concentrate between the teal and the lavender.
What it does is that it's got like a 2dimensional drawing of peaks, but it works off of the GPS on your phone, and it's kind of like Sky Guide where you can see stars.
Oh
You can go like this, and you can see peaks, and it'll tell you the elevation. It'll tell you the name of the peak, and I use that out in Colorado quite a bit to identify what peaks were in front of me.
What
And
is the
it's
name of it?
Peak Finder,
Peak Finder. Okay.
and
That's interesting because I'd be actually curious in downloading that one.
yeah, I love it because you can also do it. You can do it where it says the 2-dimensional thing, but you can also do it where it says a live view. So it uses your camera and then it superimposes the GPS information on top of it. So you can look at the actual peak, and on top of it, you get this little thing that says Mount Elbert or whatever.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic. Okay, so there's another app that I have that I don't use that all. What do we got here?
Caltopo. I used to use that.
Yeah.
I've used that before. Let me look that up.
But
Go ahead.
it's is it Avena? I believe is the name of it. Avenza, sorry. Yes, Avenza. So I do actually have the app. I never use it, if that tells you anything. There's one place that I actually use it, and that's laying between the lakes, because a lot of the maps aren't accurate with the roads that you're allowed to drive on versus the roads that you'll get fined heavily on.
Right.
In that actual app is the best one to use for that, because it's live, it's up to date. It tells you immediately, no, you can't drive this, even though the road's open. You may be driving on a road that you're not allowed to have access to. So, but I think there's some other places. I think the Daniel Boone Byway uses it as well too, like the 3 Furnace Loop that they just added. I'm pretty sure you can get that on that app as well now too. I don't know if you're able to bring that up.
Which app is it?
The Avengers. Let's call it the Avengers.
Avenza. I can bring up the website. I've got the website where I did Avenza Maps. I did a search for the Dean, but it allows you to search for maps that you want. Like right here.
Do you know much about it? I mean, is this just have, and maybe someone in the chat knows, but is that have like other people's routes?
No, I don't think so. I think it's all maps that you can download to your phone. I think it's specific maps.
Gotcha.
It may have, I don't know that it's user created. I think it's just like, see, I mean, you can see BLM, Arizona, Havasu access guide. So you can, and you can't navigate the map on the desktop.
Yeah.
On the desktop, you have to bring it into the Avenza app for your phone.
Okay. I feel like that was one of the things too, when the one time I used it, it was, other than, having the roads marked, there wasn't any other information that was really useful to me at that time.
Well, I mean, they do have it split up into categories though.
Yeah. So you don't see all that through the app like you do on a laptop.
Right. Like go off-roading. They got specialty off-roading. So there's lots of digital maps that you can get. It's just, it all comes to your phone. You can't do any route planning on here.
Nice. Well, so there's one specific app that we'll talk about, I guess this is me trying to sell you on an app now. Onyx Off Road, it's really kind of grown on me, especially. I've used it for a couple years now, and one of the reasons I like because I can cast it to the dash on the Bronco, so I have everything touch screen on the dash of the Bronco, so I can adjust what I need to on the trail. The route planning is right from the phone or from a desktop. It's easy to download your maps. I mean, it's just like one touch and you're done. But there's a lot of other things that really drive me to using this app. If you could bring up, and we'll bring up my own personal Onyx off-road map that I use. Yeah. So when you zoom in, and go ahead and zoom into southwest Colorado if you want, where all those X's are.
Okay, I'm just trying to find it here.
Yeah, there you go.
Sedona.
Oh yeah, you're. Well, okay, so you can stay there. That's fine. Go ahead and click on one of the blue trails if you can. Every trail that you can drive is marked, and it gives you specific information about that trail. If it's moderate, if it's easy. If you go to the top of that info, and you'll see where it says difficulty rating, a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
There's a lot of consistency with those numbers. Like sometimes you don't really get a consistent, oh, this trail's difficult. Then you get on it and it might be difficult for a Prius, but it wasn't really difficult for any S10 4-wheel drive, you know? But I found that this app is extremely consistent with its ratings to where I know if I'm on a level 7 out of 10, then that's going to be pretty much my max. If I go 8 out of 10, I could possibly break something or there might be body damage. So
how much is this app, by the way?
It's on sale, and I'll tell you what, I think I can actually put a code for a discount in the description.
Wow.
But again, it has different levels like everything else. So it depends. It has a free version. If you want to download it, it's going to have, a mid-tier price and then the premium price, which that's the one that shows you the private land versus the public land, which is what I need specifically. But the elite membership, that's what I have. That's actually really cool too. Go ahead and bring that back up.
Okay, hold on.
All the companies that are listed there, they each have like their own discount code. So if you click on, go ahead and click on like RTR or Warren.
Hold on, I gotta share this tab now. 10% off.
Yeah. So you can get your benefit. They'll shoot you a code to get 10% off of all their products. That's part of the elite package, with Onyx. But I found it really helps me kind of identify what trails I can feel comfortable on. If I'm going by myself, I'm going to stay at to be honest with you, that 6 out of 10 difficulty rating versus the 7. The 7 is when, okay, I might get in a little bit of trouble and I might need somebody to help me out. But if I'm going to, go solo, then 6 out of 10 and under is what I'm going to stick to.
So again, this is an off-roading app, but they also have a backpacking version, correct?
Yeah. So Onyx started off, I remember them originally as a hunting app. And I know it's a very popular hunting app, mainly because of the fact that it does identify the public and, the public lands or the, what's going on here with my camera? So the public lands versus the private lands. In fact, it was almost to a point to where it's legal binding. You could trust it as far as a legal binding, GPS coordinate. There's tons of hunters that are on YouTube saying that they were trying to get rain off, but they haven't marked on Onyx that this is public land or whatever. Then when they came out with the off-road version, that's when I was like, okay, I'm really kind of into this. Let's see what it's about. And I played around with the free version and then decided I'm going to completely invest in this. So there you go. Like 33 a month? That's actually
33 a year on sale. It's $66 off.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
That's not bad, but it's usually $100. It's usually $100 a year.
I've never paid $100 for it. I'll tell you that much.
It's like
It's always
$12
on
a month.
sale. Yeah.
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 But that's the back, and this is the backcountry one. This is the one for that's the one for backcountry.
Backpacking. Yeah, and I know nothing about that specific one, but if the interface is any similar to the other two, it's going to be extremely user friendly.
I'm gonna see if I can open the map of it and see what it looks like, see if it's like I said, I did not like Onyx when I first opened it up. And because I didn't like the user interface, it looks like they've done some work on it though.
Yeah. You know who we
hold
should
on.
have got on here?
Who?
Devin from Backpacking Exposure. I think he's an ambassador for Onyx Backcountry.
Of course he is. Yeah. I can't get to the map, but it's like, yeah, $99 a year for elite, private land ownership, recent imagery, and you get all this stuff too. So
Actually, there's a link in the information that I sent you. If you look towards the bottom, I think there's a link to Devin's little advertisement.
is that a short that he did? I think
Yep.
it is.
Yep.
Hold on, I can share that.
It actually gives a fairly decent description about what that app is about.
Is it this one?
Yep. Pretty sure.
All right, I'll play
Here you
it.
go, Devin.
Routes require some difficult off-trail navigation. So when I'm planning a hike, I'll use the Onyx Backcountry app to view the various map layers, but I love the satellite maps in 2D and 3D to
Mhm.
understand the terrain better and help me search for potential water sources and campsite options. Once I've determined options and route ideas, I'll drop a waypoint on the map for future reference when I'm actually out on the hike. Onyx Backcountry makes it super easy to download maps offline, and all your pre-trip planning with waypoints and notes are saved to reference later.
Nice.
It's actually kind of amazing. Exploring the remote.
I like it.
Yeah.
I might consider that. I might consider that if I did more backpacking. I would consider that one before I would consider the off-road. I don't have a use for the off-road.
Sure.
You have the subscription for the off-road. I'm usually with you.
Yeah, just use my. Now you got my password.
Yeah. Now I can steal from you. So it's awesome.
That's right. I have Onyx and I have a chance. Oh, nice. Awesome, Mark. Yeah, let us know how you like it. Because I don't know about the backcountry one. I'm actually curious about it.
Yeah.
Now that is a downfall that makes Gaia a little more marketable. It's a one-stop shop. You don't have to do the off-roading and the backpacking. You can
Right.
do it all at once. So now there is one other feature on Onyx that I really like. If you go back to that map,
Okay. Hold on one second.
and you'll see a little flame when you get onto the map, and I want you to click on one of those flames if you can.
You're not talking about me, are you?
No, you might have to scroll around, and then you'll eventually see one.
I'm a little flame. Okay.
I think the last one I seen was probably around New Mexico.
Yeah, let me find it real quick.
Yeah, but yeah, I seen one up there. What that is, though, that is an actual wildfire indicator.
Yeah.
If I'm planning a trip, especially out west, we all know that, forest fires change routes, right? It actually can cause some, yeah, there you go. But it actually explains what's going on with that fire. So if you click on that flame,
Click.
there you go. And that one, I think you're on the trail, not on the flame.
Yeah, let me get closer.
But that one says RX, so that's a prescribed fire.
Yeah.
So they just started that. But if it, like in Texas, when the entire state of Texas was on fire, you could click on it and it would tell you 1.3 million acres are burnt and it's 50% contained or whatever the, the actual information was on it. But they keep that fairly up to date. Yeah, there's some more to the right. Look up there. Yeah.
Oh, look at
there you go. There you go.
Oklahoma's on fire.
Oklahoma's on fire. Yeah. Which doesn't surprise me.
Oh, that's RX. These are all RX as well.
No, well, that's a good thing. Good job, Forestry Service. I bet some of those to the right are not.
Let's see.
On down.
Yeah, I want to find a okay. Here's one. Active
Okay.
wildfire.
So that's brand new. And it actually gives the information. It gives links to maybe find out more. But it also tells you the percent contained, and it just gives you an idea. Avoid that area. So if I was planning on off-roading in that area, I'm probably going to change my plans just because of forest fire.
Nearby trails.
Now sometimes
weather.
you zoom in. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Nearby trails, weather. It's a one-stop shop for information and planning your overlanding route.
Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes I zoom in and look at it, and it's like a house might have been on fire, but they put it on here as a wildfire.
Does it actually? But it's not recent imagery though, because it's just an
No, it's
overlay
not going
on
to be recent. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you trying
Very
to see
cool.
the fire? It's probably some dude's campfire. You're trying to zoom in on.
Wouldn't that be funny if it was some guy just waving up to Google?
So, but
Yeah. Very cool.
yeah. So I really recommend that app, especially for off-roading. I don't know that much about the Backcountry app yet. If it's anything like this one, I can see it's going to be a hit.
Yeah. I would probably use the Backcountry. That's more for my use case than off-roading.
Yeah. Now, do you ever just use Google Maps and just look in and all right, let's look at this wilderness area and try to decide where I'm going to go?
I had a question one time. How do you find your truck camping dispersed sites?
Mhm.
And really, the way that I did that is I went on Google Maps and I went to the Hoosier National Forest and I was looking for a dense covering of trees with a road going through it.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I'm looking for pull-offs, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
really I would scout out the beginning of a route and I would just drive. I would go down and drive that route and just look for pull-offs. And like I've got a couple of videos on it. Then I would go while I was there, I would waypoint every one of those and put a little label on it. And that's how I got like 22 sites that I found one day.
So would you just navigate with regular Google Maps then?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
wow.
But it
Okay.
was just I put the label that I put on each of those waypoints would be like could hold how many cars it could hold, if it was flat, if there was a river or a pond next to it or whatever. And so because I was specifically looking for a bunch of sites that we could truck camp.
Nice. How many times did you run into where it was private land or something
None.
like that? None. Wow. Okay.
No, because that's why I chose a road that went right through the middle of the H and
That
F.
makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. So very cool. Well,
Good way
Hoosier
to-
National is kind of weird sometimes too, because I went down a couple dirt roads and I kind of questioned where I was at because you're driving right next to an old school bus and some shack or something like that. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I should be on this road.
there's squatters out there. Like I've come upon a site where
I'm shocked. That's a hot
I know.
topic now.
I know. I come across a site where Wells when I took me and Lance went to what I call the good site, and when we were there, we found a bunch of trash and shotgun shells and just a bunch of crap.
Mhm.
And we were visited that night by a sheriff who came by and said, "Yeah, all of this stuff belongs to a couple who was living here last weekend, and I ran them out. They had been
Wow.
here for 14 days or 15 days or something like that."
Wow.
And he ran them out and told them, and the reason he knew that is because I had found their debit card in a leftover tent, and I gave it to him, and he had taken their name, so it's the same people I ran out.
Wow, that's crazy. Does that happen often down there? I mean, I've really, you don't really
Well,
think of the Hoosier
Carlson and
Nationals.
I have found 7 tent setups down there, full
my God.
setups that people just abandon.
And now we know where the giveaway merchandise comes from.
That's exactly where it comes from. Slightly used tent.
Slightly used tent. That's right.
Right.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I tell you what, man, this has been a great discussion. When it comes down to the I guess the summary of it, have more than one option. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's a battery that goes out or you lose your map, have more than one option. So you can't go wrong. But I think
Learn a compass because I'm preaching myself, by the way. Learn how
Yeah.
to use a compass.
Yeah, I mean, and especially when you have maps that have the compass points on the map that make it easy to find out where you're at. I mean, that's basic navigation that might save you a lot of extra steps or maybe getting lost. So sometimes the stubborn way is not the right way. But
Right.
definitely I can see a benefit for both. Navigation's great, whether it's wanting more information on what the trail's like or the terrain's like, or pictures, or on Onyx fire warnings. But at the same time, if it came down to it, have that map. You never know when it might come in handy.
I wish they had a map that, like, for campsites, that where people, when they visited a campsite, they could kind of like the app they use in San Francisco. You could show where people have dug cat holes and left toilet
I
paper.
literally was thinking about talking to you about that sometime. I thought of that today. Literally thought of that today.
Yeah,
So that's
like,
hilarious.
this area is all full of poop.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why they need it in San Francisco. It's not like it's on top of a street. So,
Right. No, I'm just saying that would be a funny app that, and
Yeah.
useful. It could be just an overlay layer, poop overlay.
That's right. That's right. Maybe we'll work on that. Maybe we can.
Hey,
work on that
let's
idea.
retire early.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, fantastic. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining in. Just kind of, this is going to be the last live stream we do for a
This
while.
season,
So
yeah.
we'll start season 3. We haven't decided if we're going to start in October or maybe a little sooner. But for now, I know you've got some things going on with the new job, and your personal life's changing a little bit.
Getting married, going on a honeymoon back to Colorado, and yeah, I'm just really super swamped right now.
Understood, buddy. And
Yeah.
and I guess softball season starting. So I mean, that's that's going to be it for a while. So
Yeah.
Other than that, I tell you what, we'll see you next time.
Okay. Beep, 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 beep. And